here. Hey, I just wanted to chat with you for a minute, just kind of a quick range report beyond what will be at the end of this video after the shooting parts. When I went to the range and I was testing my hand loads, and kind of what I did was I took some of this choice ammunition, Cowboy Action 200 grain, which I think was like 450 to 500 feet per second, somewhere down in there. It's got this coating on it, and it works out pretty nice. I kind of used it as a kind of a benchmark for me to, when I first started shooting, to check for accuracy and things. And then I took a couple of different sets of 5 from my 2 different batches of hand loads using these SAS coated bullets. And I used Starline brass, you know, with some tight group, and I believe I had CCI large pistol primers. But anyway, wanted to test those out and kind of see how they are. I mean, it's they're a little stronger than these. They're probably shooting a little faster than that, but I don't have a chronograph, so I can't really tell you for sure. What I did is I used these are not my usual Cowboy Action pistols, but I like to use this one when I'm testing things. This is my Galco single action holster, and this is my 7.5 inch Blackhawk. Nice looking gun, huh? It's always a nice gun. And just for our purposes, we'll flip it open and flip through here and show you that it's unloaded. And really like this, you know, so this works well for that. I use this primarily, would be my hunting sidearm with shooting plus Ps, especially for shooting plus P, like buffalo boar, heavy outdoorsman hardcast, or choice ammunition hardcast bear loads. And these are bullets that are usually, you know, up in the 300 grain range, and they're pretty robust. They're coming out of there, you know, I think somewhere between, I'd have to check, but I think they're somewhere up in the neighborhood of, you know, 12 to 1300 feet per second. With this barrel, I don't know, there might be more. I'm gonna have to get me a chronograph. So anyway, just wanted to mention that and just kind of show you those bullets there that I was using, and I'll talk about the sequence that I was shooting them in. Basically, I shot some of these guys as kind of just check for my accuracy as a kind of a standard, and then used my hand loads on the next few, and I shot on some steel and on some paper targets. And then at the end, I shot just 5 rounds of 225 grain Hornady Lever Revolution FTX, 2 in the steel and 3 on the target, just to kind of check for my groupings. Sometimes I do use a 185 grain version of that, but for my purposes in the video, I used the other one. So just wanted to share that with you. And I just wanted to thank many of my viewers and subscribers who really encouraged me not to sell or trade this gun, because I enjoyed shooting it so much. And you know, when you shoot really light loads in it, it's pretty light. I won't say it feels like 22, but it almost gets kind of close to like a 22 Magnum or something, it feels like. So, but for really heavy loads, it can really handle those too. So it makes it nice. So thank you for encouraging me to keep that one around. And as Redesert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. So here's my range footage. Out here at the range today, I'm going to try some shooting from about 10 and 15 yards probably. Be testing my hand loads, but I'll use a choice ammunition, Cowboy Action loaded. I think they're around 450, 500 feet per second, 200 grain as kind of my test one. And then I'll try 5 rounds of each of my hand loads. And then I'll try some other hand loads I brought along. And I think some other ones might be some Grizzlies. They're all about 200 grains. So, in 45 Colt, I'll be doing it with my Ruger Blackhawk with a 7.5 inch barrel. So, just to test these loads out, see how they're coming out. So we'll do that in just a moment. Show you what I got set up here at the range. So we got metal targets. Probably do those at about 10, 12 yards. Do this other one probably at about 10 or 12 yards too. Okay. So you can see at about 15 yards, it's not a bad grouping right there. Put my hand up here. Let's see. I can't get my hand to, let's try to, if you go to the largest there, this grouping here isn't too bad. It's within the target area in about, it's about a 450, 500 foot per second Cowboy Action load, 200 grains. So it's not going to have a ton of punch, but enough. But we'll use that as kind of the standard. And now I'll do my other Cowboy Action loads that I hand loaded. Over here on the steel targets, you can see that at 10 yards, didn't even knock the first one down. Now sometimes these targets don't always go down that easy with weaker ammunition on this particular rack. And that was at 10 yards. So this is my hand loads. Of course, I'm all in the light of it. I think you can see one of these was already here. I think I knocked it off, but I had two in the center, one down here, two down here. Not a bad grouping, you know. So I'm going to shoot the next. I'm going to shoot 3 up here, and then I'm going to shoot 2 on the steel just to see if it'll knock them down, kind of what their power is compared to the other ones I was using. So we can see it took down the first 2 steel targets. So I only shot 2 rounds. And that first one's a little sticky and didn't go down with some of the other factory hand loads that I had. So let's go take a look at the other target up close. I think we can see not too bad a group right here, still from about probably 12 to 14 yards. And I shot the other 2 on the steel. So the hand loads. So that's good. "15 yards. The choice ammo did not drop the first one. That one's just a little bit stubborn. I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to shoot 5 more rounds of the choice. And I'm going to skip that target and use the last 5. As you can see, even with the choice ammo, the last 5 targets went down fine. It's just that first one's really stubborn. It's at about 10 yards, 200 grain. Choice Cowboy Action, about 450, 500 feet per second. So as a final exercise today, I've got 5 rounds of 225 grain FTX modern self-defense ammunition in 45 Colt in this Ruger Blackhawk with the 7.5-inch barrel, new model Ruger Blackhawk. And we'll take down 2 of the steel, one of them being the hard one to knock down at 10 yards. And then at about probably 7 to 10 yards, we'll do a double tap, 2 and plus 1 on the target. And then we'll see how that goes. Okay, here we go. Get back. You can see at about 10 yards, maybe a little bit, maybe 10 to 11, it had no problem knocking the steel down with those 225 grain FTX bullets. Now let's go look at the target, which ended up being, just a moment, I'll go check over here and I'll walk it in. So if we look at this, the first two went down here in this double tap drill. They went here, not a bad shot. Inside the 9 ring, the last one's up here. It's about 15 to 16 yards with Hornady 225 grain FTX. Remember, it's out of a 7.5 inch barrel of the new model Ruger Blackhawk. So using it for hunting, I would probably true it up more, and I would probably increase the range to at least 25 yards if it was for hunting dangerous game defense for the sight-in distance. But I do some more reading on that by people that are more experts on it than me before I made that decision. As Reed Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. Bye now. So out here at the range today, we shot between 10 and 15 yards, mostly on the target, probably between 10 and up to 15 yards, but 10 to 12 most of the time. And on the steel, 10 yards minimum, 15 yards one time. Good results overall. At the last time around, we shot 5 rounds of 225 grain Hornady FTX lever revolution, rated at 950 feet per second. Now, I don't know if that's rated out of a handgun or a rifle, but probably, I don't know, I'll have to check that out. An 889 at 50 yards. So with the 7.5 inch barrel, it's definitely going to keep the velocity up a little bit better than 5.5 inch or 4.62 probably. Because I imagine, because those are also made to be used in the lever action. But anyway, nice gun, new model Blackhawk. You know, new model Ruger Blackhawk, right? Single action, nice gun. This is a gun I use when I test my hand loads and stuff like that. It's pretty well built. And you can see I shot about 30 rounds of 45 Colt. 10 of them were my reloads. I had 2 different batches. Took 5 rounds from 2 different batches, and then the rest were essentially from my choice ammunition Cowboy Action loads that I had. And so I have some other hand loads there that are marked, as you can see, that I got from somebody else. And the other ones, I don't know whether they're Grizzly. I think they're also the choice ammunition ones, but they were coated like this. Mine were coated with a red, but they were lead, coated bullets, and they work pretty nicely. They eject pretty well with the loads that we have in them, which is, and I'll talk about that maybe at another time. But it was a good day at the range. This Galco holster looks really cool. It carries the gun very nicely. It does not work very well for holstering and unholstering the gun when it's 7.5 inches. It would need to be lower down. There's probably a better style Western holster for that. It's not a bad holster. It's just for the purposes of drawing it and using it, and the reholstering especially, it's not that simple. So probably going to have to think about a chest holster or a chest rig or a cross draw if I want to consider using this 7.5 inch in the field for hunting or dangerous game, because it's not that hard necessarily to get it out, but trying to get it back in the holster, which I guess if you had to use it, that's the least of your worries. So as Reed Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. Bye now.